Hello, everybody. Welcome to the WTF1 podcast. We are here in our new office. No, we're not. I wish it was.
I wish.
What a cool office.
Williams HQ in Wantage. Never knew of Wantage before Williams. And what a place to do it. I mean, you've got I don't know if the red ones are in shot. Are they in shot, Rory, the red ones? The nose slightly. So, yeah, not a bad backdrop, eh, guys?
Pretty decent.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to fanboy massively as a childhood Damon Hill fan and Williams fan, but yeah, pretty epic to have this behind us.
Well, when we were having our tour earlier, you full on put both of your hands up when the tour guide asked, who's a Damon Hill fan? And then there was you, both arms raised.
Yeah, repping Damon. Got to do it,
Damon Hill unfortunately didn't race today, Spanish
No,
Grand Prix.
didn't.
I wish something had happened of that kind of...
That would have been more entertaining, really.
Yes. Oh, before we do that, I'm Matt.
I'm Jess.
I'm Tommy.
Oh my God. I kind of forget sometimes to do that, but I feel like we need to. It's part of the WTF1 podcast. Let's talk about the Spanish Grand Prix, or what it was that we just watched.
Should we just carry on talking about the museum?
Yeah.
Got more to talk about in this museum than in the race.
A lot more exciting. So we watched the race thanks to Williams, didn't we? Their F1 fan race viewings that they have here, which is pretty exciting. Loads of fans that come along, don't they, and have some food, have some drink. And
yeah, it's a really nice event.
Nice little day out.
Really cool idea to watch a race at an F1 team.
Yeah, it's like, unfortunately Williams weren't up there fighting for the win, but all this history, and Pastor Maldonado's car right behind the camera.
The
Which
Spanish
you've seen
Grand
in
Prix
IBR,
winner.
right?
Lord
Yeah.
Maldonado.
Lord Pastor.
Right, let's talk about the Spanish Grand Prix if we have to. If we really have
Go
to.
on,
Do we
then.
have to? 3 word race reviews from fans about the race. So we have DL Gump 15317. Well, that sucked. Matthias Sanchez, C, always the same. And the departurist, waiting for 2020. Now, I believe this person means 2021.
Well, I guess that maybe they're just suggesting that this season's wrapped up. And we might
maybe.
as well just jump to the next season.
For the same thing.
I mean, Constructors has won surely now.
How many points do they have now? I can't even... I've lost count.
Yeah, perfect. They got fastest lap in every race? No, Charles
No.
got one, didn't he? So
My boy Charles. Yeah.
almost every
Almost a clean
single,
sweep.
which is insane. Like, no one's ever done that before. So yeah,
5 1-2s in a row. Who would from testing, who would have put money on 5 1-2s in a row
Jesus,
for Mercedes?
can we not
Have you said
talk
that too?
about testing?
Triggered.
My gosh. Can we just say how many people brought up testing just because we were at the same track that we did testing at? And yes, okay, you can look back and go, oh, who would have thought that we'd be in this position at testing? But you can't glean anything from testing because it's not a competition.
yeah.
Like, it's just not. Sorry,
Testing.
It's
Yeah.
so true. It's so true though. There's literally no relevance just because it's the same track. It's like it's
No relevance.
so much later on in the season. You know, it's competitive, different tires, different everything.
Yeah. Although
Yeah.
you did pick up an interesting stat, was that they were slower in qualifying than the time they did. But obviously,
Yeah,
again,
Ferrari were slower
changes.
and Mercedes were 0.8 quicker than they were in testing.
But then
So-
it's completely different conditions. It's different time of the year and whatnot. But yeah, so not particularly shocking after the first 4 races that Mercedes have another 1-2. Zubair_Baig. Is there any point in watching the rest of the season? We know who's going to win.
Well,
Yes.
It's got a title fight,
but
hopefully.
Between
exactly.
Bottas and
Bottas and Hamilton. At least it's something. But yeah, it's not been the greatest start. Unfortunately, the argument will always be like, oh, people dominated before, but sadly, the racing hasn't been that great either.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for that really signature race. We had it in Bahrain. We had a good race. I'd say that's the only decent race we've had this year. I don't know if you agree in terms of excitement.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
We come to Spain. Obviously, we didn't have a great race in Azerbaijan, which was a shock after the previous 2. But Spain, we kind of went into it with expectations that it was going to be a bit dull. Like, it's not a track that really promotes great races. Was the last really good race 2012?
Yeah.
Probably,
With
yeah.
Maldonado?
Well, and this time last year we were talking about how it needs to be ditched from the calendar, right?
And I would happily put that as the title again this time. That's something that we'll come on to, and some rumours, but not a great race. Obviously, we had the safety car towards the end, which kind of gave us excitement for like 1 lap. But apart from that, it's not been great. Let's talk about Mercedes then. So the 5-1-2s, my 3-word race review is please stop winning.
Yeah, it's one of those that you can't begrudge them for winning, but also Please stop.
Please stop. Yeah, I mean, they're doing an amazing job, and you can't take that away from them. They've been pretty much flawless, as 5-1-2s would suggest.
Yeah.
But please stop, because it's getting a little bit. Because when you look back to the Red Bull dominance, I kind of see that as quite a. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know the statistics as much, but like the Red Bull one felt really bad. Like it felt like Red Bull won all the time, which they did. But it hasn't. It was never as bad as this.
Yeah, I think the problem is the fact that we've never had 5-1-2s. Unfortunately, they were so far ahead this race. Like, we need to stop saying that Ferrari have the best car and they're just bottling it on strategy, because the strategy for me is making it worse. Yes, it's making it even more embarrassing for Ferrari that they're nowhere. But qualifying, they were nearly a second off. Like, you saw there was a great video on F1 that F1 shared where it was the visual gap.
Yes.
And they nearly lost a second in that final sector, which worries me a lot for Monaco.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you think that race is going to be the one where we don't get a Mercedes 1-2, the fact that they were so much quicker in that final sector is a bit of a worry. But
because that's usually where Mercedes aren't so strong. Like that was always kind of their Achilles heel almost. Like
street tracks,
street tracks or tight twisties. They were never that great at, because it's a boat, and the other teams just seem to have a little more in terms of like downforce and capabilities in the final sectors if they were twisty turny, but they seem to have smashed it, or they're at least fast enough that it doesn't matter. Yeah,
the last couple of years, with their sort of like the car that they referred to as a boat, it was never great around Monaco.
No.
You were like, oh, well, this is Red Bull and Ferrari's track, but generally you wouldn't be surprised if it was a 1-2 again in Monaco.
Yeah.
Like, it could happen.
So at Dizakarafath says, how do we stop Mercedes domination then? Do we just race at Monaco 20 times a year, or?
Well, it's just, the thing is like people are saying like, how do we stop Mercedes dominance? And that's not, I think that's not the factor here, right? It's to do with the fundamentalities of F1, which is something, again, like we've touched on briefly, and I think we're all praying that 2021 is going to level the playing field somewhat, just because it's the largest regulation change for a long time, pretty much since 2014. So it's that. It's not Mercedes' fault. Like, it's not that we should be berating Mercedes or slowing Mercedes down. It's that we need a playing field where the midfield teams, or even the second team or third team, has a chance. So that's not Mercedes' fault. It's the fundamentals of the current state of F1 which needs changing or addressing, which, again, as we've said, is hopefully coming in 2021. But people need to stop saying like it's Mercedes' fault, because at the end of the day, it's a competition, and each team is going to do their absolute most to win. And currently Mercedes, for a number of different reasons, money being one of them, but it's not like Ferrari are without money or resource or drivers. It's the fact that Mercedes, for some reason, have the right formula.
Yeah. When you've got the likes of Renault as well, and
Exactly.
they're putting big bucks into their projects as well. And
the engine formula has just really played into Mercedes' hands, but they have done it the best. They have been the best in this era. It's slightly depressing staring at this Pastor Maldonado car in front of us, thinking that was 7 different winners in the first 7 races, because Perez recently came out, didn't he, and said drivers are going to maybe even look elsewhere from Formula One, where you think you always want to be in Formula One, but if you can't win. I think another stat, it's not just the 5th Mercedes 1-2 in a row, it's the 5th time where the top 5 has been Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel, Leclerc and Verstappen in any order.
Really?
The same 5 drivers every single race have finished in the top 5.
Yeah.
So it's not even the 1-2. That just shows how there is something wrong with the competitiveness at the moment of Formula One.
And it's, Baku, we always say, is the one race of the year where you think you're going to get a non-top 3 team on the podium, and that didn't even happen. So, we're kind of at this point in the season now where we're like, well, are we ever going to see a non-Mercedes, Ferrari or Red Bull on the podium? And I mean, there's so much money that goes into this sport. it's going to be no wonder if this carries on beyond 2021 that teams are just going to pull out, because what's the point in not being able to be competitive? What is the point? Like, it's meant to be the playing field where you show off your greatest tech innovations and the greatest engineering innovations. And if you can't do that as a team, like, why would you throw money at it? Which is obviously why they're bringing in these changes, but it's just something that we're going to have to stick with, I think, for this season, definitely, unless Mercedes have some kind of catastrophic incident in a number of races. It's unlikely they're going to get caught up. So we just have to stick at it. The thing is, I think for me, I still will watch every race.
Yeah,
and not just because it's our jobs, but because I still believe in it and I still love it. And I still love the fact that you get to see strategies play out. Like, we did see a bit of that today.
A tiny bit.
It was still there though, and it still did make me go, who's like we kind of did. You stopped watching the football at one point.
Yeah, at one point.
So yeah, I think I don't want to get too negative, because I think there's been so much negativity now after this race just because of it being so predictable. I don't want to get negative about it. I still have that hope inside that this isn't the way it's always going to be. There will be something, whether it's this season or in the next few seasons, that will bring that spark back to what that I think a lot of people think is missing right now.
Bottas and Hamilton will collide at turn 1 at one point. There we go.
I hope so.
You heard it here first. Just at one point, at any point in their career, they will crash. Yeah, I think for an F1 fan, a diehard one, as you said, Jess, we won't be sort of put off by this. We've had eras of dominance before, and we'll have eras of dominance in the future. That's just it's more a casual fan, I guess, that could be swayed either way as to I can't be bothered to watch it anymore. We've had 5-1-2s. There's no point watching the rest of the season. But for if there are casuals watching, I'd kind of say stick around, purely because we will have great races this season. We will have great races. It's not like we'll go through a whole season and there won't be something that will be a variant. And sometimes even boring races make the good ones feel even better.
Yeah.
So you have boring, you have boring events for all kinds of sports, and it's the same for Formula One. So I don't think Monaco will be a spectacular one. Let's not put money on it. But then again, we expect it to be rubbish, so it'll probably be amazing.
It's going to be great.
But I think leading kind of into Tommy's 3-word race review, I think in terms, F1 has a responsibility to show off the good bits, right? And there were good bits from this race.
Like the no signal bit. That was great, wasn't it?
They just didn't show it.
Yeah. So yeah, my if we go on to my 3-word race review, it is show the midfield.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, there was one point where Daniel Ricciardo and I think it was Sainz were really close next to each other. You saw the timing tower, them swapping positions, and you were watching Lewis Hamilton lap a racing point. Racing point.
Because I was sat next to Jess, and Jess was going, "What's going on? How come Sainz is now ahead of Ricciardo? What's going on here?" Like, we genuinely had to look at the timing, which not everyone has access to. That's something that we had a special access to because we were watching it here. Yeah. And we're like, "What's going on? Why am I watching the amount of things that lapped cars that we saw being overtaken by the leader?"
Was the race director so bored of Mercedes 1-2s as well? He was sat on his phone not really paying attention, because even as a casual fan, surely when you see the gap between it's like half a second or 7/10, you go, well, let's see that. I don't want to see Hamilton 3 seconds in the lead.
That of replays, it wasn't an action-packed race, and we saw replay after replay of things happening. I'm like, I want to see that live.
Yeah, I think the only on track overtake that we saw live was Kvyat on Raikkonen, and
you mean Albon?
Or was it? No, it's Kvyat. No, wait, what? Who? Yeah, I mean,
they went on for a while for that as well, weren't they? Like, Albon, he's this young star, he's amazing.
I know, he went full in, didn't he?
And then the graphic came up, and he went,
and then you could tell the moment Crofty was like, that was Kvyat, wasn't it? Yeah.
But even Toro Rosso themselves tweeted something along the lines of, "You didn't see them, but Kvyat has just done 2 amazing overtakes." And
Kvyat was on fire, and we saw none of it.
Is there a new production team that's taken over? Because I feel like from this season, it's just been a bit off.
I understand that, there's so much, in other races, there's so much going on, and you get the odd highlights that you didn't catch during the race if it was manic at the front. Yeah. But we've just had 3, let's be honest, pretty dull races in a row.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of seeing on Twitter on a Tuesday, SpongeBob 98 uploading a video going, missed by FOM, but look at this incredible overtake Lance Stroll did round the outside of... Why? Like, nothing's happening in the race. Why aren't we seeing this? Like, how hard is it to find these moments?
It feels like the person, like, looking, going, right, this doesn't really understand Formula One and what we want to see. Because,
which I'm sure isn't the case.
No, but like that's the feeling you get when you watch it. You're like, well, why am I watching lapped cars?
And when you consider like the Netflix documentary, which I think was a really good move from F1, and the fact that neither of the 2 top teams took part, but it still gave off that Formula One is this amazing, drama-filled, political sport. That's what got a lot of people interested. It really worked a charm in terms of like getting in new fans, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they need to take a leaf out of Netflix's book and ignore the front of the pack
if
and just show the midfield.
Even if it's Russell versus Kubica. The amount of times I saw them dive into turn 1 side by side. Didn't see any of that on television.
Williams put a picture up and they were like, it was only the race result, but it showed them going side by side into turn 1. And you're like, show this. Where is this?
Yeah.
I'd rather watch that than Hamilton 3 seconds ahead.
Anyway, hopefully they will learn and improve throughout the season. I don't know why it's like this at the moment, but we want to see action. I think that's
I would love for us to be able to go behind the scenes.
All 3 of us do it.
And don't let us do it live because it would probably end up being appalling. And plus, we'd only see Charles if Matty was involved.
I'd just be Charles.
Oh look, Charles just did that. Oh look, he's getting faster. Oh.
Me pressing the Verstappen button.
Oh my god, it'd just be a war.
And Jess would be like, not Bottas.
Not unless he's doing something exciting, then I'll let him off.
Yeah, so I think that'd be amazing. So if everyone's watching,
if everyone's
please let us through.
Everyone's probably going, well, you have a go. It's probably not that easy. Okay.
Yes. Yes,
please.
Okay.
And we will show how difficult it is if we get hold of it.
If you want us to prove how difficult it is,
then
let's do it.
And it'll be like Fernando Alonso on the TV camera. That'll be us, just everywhere.
Yeah. No worse than China, though.
Oh, shots fired.
For audio listeners, that was me going with a camera. I don't know why I've done that because that's not explained it. Anyway, that was my hands up. Right, Jess, 3-word race review, please.
Thank you, Lando.
Kind of. Thank you for giving us an excitement for one lap.
Sorry you DNF'd, but thank you so much for dragging gravel across the track because I think if you hadn't done that, we wouldn't have had a safety car.
We all mini cheered, didn't we, when we saw it coming?
I mean, we were obviously disappointed.
That's it. Drive back onto the track. Keep going across.
Keep it. More gravel. Brilliant.
Now
perfect.
Stop.
Now stop.
I feel like
now we got a safety car.
I feel like Lando must have listened to our podcast where we were having a go at Gasly for not parking it on the apex after he retired to bring out a safety car, and he went, right, we need some memes here.
Yeah.
Gravel
everywhere. But obviously it was just getting kind of dire at that point, and then the safety car kind of it made you put down the football and watch again, but it did kind of spice things up again, and we thought maybe tyres, because people seem to be struggling with the tyres.
Spiced up the midfield a bit.
Yeah, it did spice up the midfield a bit, but at the front, I mean, they were saying actually that the safety car, Lewis is such a one for complaining that the safety car goes too slow.
He nearly went in the boot.
But he was all over it. But apparently the safety car was purposefully going slower because the cars were so spread out and they needed to bunch them all up. So they needed to let them catch up.
When even the Mercedes safety car has to go slower so everyone can catch up.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
But I found that probably quite thrilling, actually. Part of the race was, I was like, oh my God, he's literally an inch away from the back of the Mercedes.
Imagine that if you'd have DNF from crashing into the safety car.
2 Mercedes crashes again.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. That'll be an interesting sight. But he got very close. And you can tell he gets very aggravated very quickly.
Yeah.
Speed up.
He's also one of the worst ones to watch if he's in the lead for the restart, because he obviously purposely bunches them all up. And obviously he's entitled to. He gets to control the pace. But it does make me it makes me feel sick how close they all get to one another.
I love it.
No, I don't. It really stresses me out. It really stresses me out.
The best bit of the racing when safety car restarts.
Yeah. But then he was 3 seconds ahead by the
he checked
10th
out.
corner or something.
He checked
Turn
out.
10, he was
Quickly
like 4
going back to your
seconds ahead.
3-word race review, there was a question, JXSH_mad, Stroll or Lando's fault?
So I was thinking about this, and
Controversial opinion
no,
incoming.
I don't think so. I think I
Blaming Stroll. You're blaming Stroll, aren't you?
I initially thought it was Stroll's fault.
Yes, you were very...
I was very adamant it was Stroll's fault.
What's he doing?
No, but I think I agree. Like, after seeing multiple camera angles of it, it was a racing incident. But they got called into the... Well, I think only Norris got called into the
I think they both
stewards, or did they both get called in?
With this,
But I agree. I think it was a racing incident. And then the reason why I was saying I was thinking about this is because I don't even want it to be a point, because nothing... I mean, obviously, like, they crashed out, so there was an incident that was bad. But to be honest, like, Stroll had every right to put his car where he put it because he was still in front. And I don't think Lando got over halfway.
He actually got closer than I thought he did.
I think,
in the,
but not, probably not halfway.
And I think he was using the curbs, which seems to be his go-to. He's like, how much of track limits can I really squeeze here to make this move stick? But we want races going, like, we want them to go for things like that. And if you keep kind of berating them, or like picking up on, oh, sorry, that was a bit poppy. Picking up on
every page is from here.
Yeah, like that. Then I don't know. Maybe they'll just be discouraged from trying to make those moves.
Well, they've had those
I'm still not sure.
They've had those problems before where they were starting to penalise, investigate everything, and they were meant to make sure that wasn't going to happen. Because for me, that incident epitomises racing incident. Two guys racing hard.
Absolutely.
One's turned in thinking the other one was going to back out. They didn't. It's just that happens in Formula One.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a very succinct version of what I was trying to say.
Yeah, and for me, definitely racing incident. I think, when you watch it, I was kind of like, oh, was Stroll squeezed him a little bit? But when you look at it, Lando's gone for it. For me, it's an audacious move to try and go up the inside at turn 2.
I was going to say it's not an overtaking place usually, but again, like, we need people like him, and Max is very good at it, at finding places, because they've either done it on the simulator or on a game, and they've made it stick and it's worked, and they're going to try it out in real life. Like, that's what we want. We need that, because if everyone just goes into it going, that's not an overtaking place, then we're just going to have boring races for forever.
And all in all, I like the fact that Lando went for it. In Australia, you could see the nerves of trying to overtake anybody, and now he's trying to go around the outside at turn 1 on somebody. So it obviously he's gaining confidence. Obviously, it might knock it a little bit, the fact that he's had a crash. It probably unsettle him a little bit. But,
and obviously, I think like Racing Point had a tough weekend, so I do feel for Stroll as well. But like you said, they were racing hard, and it happens, unfortunately. So
racing incident, agreed.
100%.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes. Okay.
Oh my God, we agreed on something.
Incredible. Well, we've got ABCDEF1 coming,
Oh,
so
God.
that's going to go downhill. Other discussion points. We have a question from Emil_Korsgaard. Says, what was your opinion on Magnussen and Grosjean? It says crash, but kind of like a little coming together.
That was brilliant, wasn't it? 3 laps in a row, Grosjean took that little runoff area around, what was it, turn 2? 2.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Kind of straight line,
What?
turn 1.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh, no, okay, we'll try next lap.
Because they're meant to stay within that cone, right?
Yeah, and on the first one he
down.
didn't, right?
And I think he did, but he lost a bit more time, whereas the second and third time he realised that you can just straight line it, and it's actually almost a racing line. Like, you don't need to slow
quick.
down.
Into turn 3, like you get a better,
Yeah,
well, it didn't work out for him in the end, because then he started to lose loads of places, didn't he? He lost places to Sainz.
Yeah. I mean, Magnussen was proper elbows out, which is what you expect.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Magnussen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, shock.
What do you expect?
But I like that about Magnussen.
I'd love to have been a fly on the wall in the Haas garage for Gunther Steiner.
Oh my gosh, that swear jar would have been full.
Yeah.
Because Haas finally, they were nowhere in Azerbaijan, were they? I can't remember exactly.
No,
where
they finally.
But Spain,
delivered on race pace.
I think that it just goes to show, like, not. It really depends on the track.
Yeah, the midfield is so close.
But I think without the safety
aspect.
car, they, correct me if I'm wrong, would have been best of the rest easily, both of them.
Yeah.
They were pretty clear and fighting. But yeah, the safety car brought a little bit of action, if you call it that. Let's talk about Juan Miguel ESP. Spain, I imagine. Was that the last Spanish Grand Prix?
Hopefully.
No,
Yeah.
please.
No. Maybe. I mean,
I wouldn't be sad to see it go.
So the reason this has been brought up is because there were rumours that Spain will be replaced on the calendar with Zandvoort.
Is Zandvoort a good track? I can't. I
Not
know
for
I'll
F1.
recognise it.
Yeah,
but
it's good. It's not a great track for F1 and overtaking, but I'm unsure where I lie on this because Barcelona.
It doesn't give you
It doesn't
anything.
give us anything anyway. The atmosphere since Alonso's not been winning doesn't have that same
the
sort
fact
of
Sainz has a
excitement.
grandstand and he hasn't even won a race.
Yeah, the final chicane is awful for overtaking, and to be honest, I find the track a bit soulless and rubbish anyway. For me, like Zandvoort, yes, everyone's going, oh, it's like Monaco, you won't be able to overtake, but I feel like the same thing was said about Austria, and we've had some decent races there, and like, why not? Like, I feel like the
Take a punt.
championship. Yeah, I feel like the championship should have different tracks. Like, let's be honest, the atmosphere will be absolutely incredible if they go there because of Verstappen. Like,
Yeah.
it'll be absolutely
And the
bonkers.
Dutch fans are crazy anyway.
And yeah, it may not be the most amazing place for overtaking. We've not had many overtakes this year, even at Baku. And, you know, it might be one of those races like Suzuka where it really punishes mistakes and all that kind of stuff. I genuinely don't know if they will edit the track or not, because it's very like 1980s still, like gravel traps. There's no real heavy braking zone to overtake. Like, it would be like a proper old school, like flat out track. Like F1 would be insane there in terms of like watching them in qualifying trim, kind of like Monaco, which I'm sure you guys would be like, oh, but it would be pretty crazy.
As a spectacle, but maybe not so much racing action. But I agree to kind of go for the punt. You know, just Spain doesn't really bring that much. If Zandvoort is another option, then
It's difficult because people are like, oh, we want classic tracks, and then they want to bring classic tracks, and people are like, oh, well, it's not really suited for F1 now. It's drawing that line we spoke about so many times. Like, well, do you ditch Albert Park? Do you ditch Monaco? Do you ditch Albert Park? Do you ditch Suzuka? Like, do you know what I mean?
Albert Park twice.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I say it twice? Yeah.
I mean, that's how much it has to go.
Yeah.
Yes, it has to leave the calendar.
Like, I feel like the calendar should be varied. There should be different levels of racetracks. You know, yes, we have like Tilke drones with huge runoff area, but then also like a Suzuka, which will punish mistakes, or like, you know, that kind of like Spa. You want a bit of variety, and I think it would bring variety, and also, like you say, more places that bring that kind of atmosphere. Like, it's almost getting to the point now, like you see how many Dutch fans are in the crowd.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
a Dutch Grand Prix would be insane.
maybe it would rival Monza and the Tifosi. Like, that is just, I don't care what the racing's like at Monza, because being there as a fan is just insane. And again, like, that's kind of like the other part of F1 that I think people that only get to watch it on TV miss, in that, like, F1 isn't, like, for a lot of fans, or fans who are lucky enough to get to go to races, like, that's such an important part of it. And even if you're not a Ferrari fan, just being there is insanely, like, just an experience that everyone should have at least once in their lives. Yeah. But so maybe that would be exactly
like
that.
if you think back to last year when Kimi got pole and you could literally hear the crowd, like, we need that in F1 as well. Regardless of if it's, you know, not the greatest track in the world for overtaking, you need some of that as well.
Yeah. I'm all for keeping the classic tracks, but also it freshens up the calendar having new tracks. You know, you're kind of like, oh, we're going to this for the first time. And it gives that extra, I guess, for hardcore fans like us, to see a different track in action, I think it's quite cool.
But something's got to give. I think that's what we've spoken about before. Like, if we're going to keep classic tracks, then the cars need to change, or the layout needs to change.
It needs to work.
Because, I mean, that's what I think I heard Brundle saying in the lead-up coverage. Like, if Spain does disappear, that track is so much a part of Formula One now, and it would be wrong to take it. Yes, but if it's not delivering, what's the point? Like, are we going to lose racing just for getting nostalgic? Like, no, that's not the way it should be. But again, like, I'm not against, like, it would make me sad. Like, it would make me so sad to lose Silverstone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, like, slightly biased because British track and kind of very good memories there. But, you know, it would be sad for F1 it would be sad for F1 to lose Monaco. Right? I will say it, right? As a Monaco hater, it would be sad for F1 to lose Monaco, but something's got to give. Like they need to either change the cars so that they fit
I
the
saw that
tracks,
facial expression,
or they
Tommy.
need to change the circuit because it's just not delivering for fans. So
I did completely disagree, but we won't do that in this podcast.
We'll save it for
next
next week's. Well, not
nice.
next week's, the next one.
Did we have that last year as well?
We did. It's just going to be the same conversation.
Yeah.
I'll just be here like, yeah.
No, because it's going to be the best race, so it's fine.
Yeah, Monaco's going to be great.
Okay, I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay, now it's time for something we all agree on. ABCDEF1.
Oh, you didn't say it like you usually say it.
ABCDEF1.
There we go.
Woo! Okay, let's start with Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton.
A.
Agreed.
Despite being so far, I guess his race was so good.
Yeah.
Because we haven't mentioned how far, like for Bottas to out-qualify one of the greatest qualifiers of all time by 0.6, that's pretty mad.
But did you hear why?
No.
About the
So-
charging.
Oh, the charging. Okay.
Yeah, Lewis didn't have a full battery when he went out for his final stint, and he came in early and then had to come out and the battery wasn't fully charged. But still, like...
Made mistakes. Still made
But
mistakes.
I
didn't
think
he?
Exactly.
I think it's an A performance still, just
A.
from his race.
Didn't get pole,
Yeah.
but won.
Yeah.
And bossed Bottas
decidedly.
as well. Because Bottas wasn't even... Because he was like 8-9 seconds back, wasn't he? He doesn't need to be that far back, Bottas, to kind of, be out of the dirty air as such and save your tyres. So, yeah, strange. And Valtteri Bottas.
B.
B? Yeah, I guess B, because he never came close to... Did you think that Bottas was very... almost like Hamilton-esque when
Angry.
he lost? Like, he was very angry.
Yeah.
And he almost had that vibe of him that was like, what happened at the start? Almost like his team had done him wrong.
He came out with another excuse, didn't he? Like, so we had... Where was it? Was it China where he said that he...
The start line was
slippy. So being on pole was a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And again, he's come out saying like there was something wrong with the clutch.
Yeah.
Maybe there was something wrong with the clutch. Like I don't want to say like, oh, he's just an excuse person, but when it comes down to it, like Hamilton in the past has been poor off the line. Like his starts are not great. But they know like if they're the only two cars that are competing in this championship, they have to, and especially at a track like Spain, they have to be leading at turn one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that got to Bottas's head a little bit and he slipped it or whatever. But, when it came down to it, Hamilton got the far better start. I mean, Bottas almost got by Vettel.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was quite unfortunate for the, well, I mean, maybe we can talk about Vettel's commitment into turn one, but he almost got by 2 places. And again,
and it wasn't that bad of a start. It was literally just that initial
I think B's fair.
getaway. Yeah, I think B's fair.
Yeah, otherwise we're going to be here talking forever and everyone will start getting upset about how I hate Bottas.
What? Really?
I don't hate Bottas.
I just mildly dislike him.
No, I just want him to, he should have been within at least 2 seconds of Hamilton by the end. Why was he so far back?
I guess he's got second place in the
parts
bag.
and stuff.
Yeah, but all the way through the race.
I guess because it's Spain, he
You
thinks
can't
I could
overtake.
get close, but there's not a.
I mean, I
not a
guess
hope in
so
hell.
similar like Lewis in
Yeah.
Australia. Like, what's the point?
Just give up.
Yeah.
Save the engine.
Probably.
I have noticed, as you said, Tommy, the personality change of Bottas. I feel like this year he actually believes he can win the championship.
Yeah,
Good.
because 100% last year, if he'd have got second, he'd be smiling
like, "Oh, that's a great performance."
second, yeah, good for the team. Now he's like, I've taken a step back in the championship.
Yeah.
He is in I'm
Which is
winning the
good for him,
championship
which
mode,
is
which
good.
is good. And like you say, he should be.
Bring it.
He's in a Mercedes.
I
He
don't know
should
how many
be.
times I keep having to say it. Bring it. Bring it. Please,
And
Bottas, please. Please.
Valtteri just says, bring
Bring it. he told us all to F off. So,
Not as
Just
literally,
everybody.
as in
Yeah.
his
yeah, it was
letters.
directed directly at me.
At you,
No.
yeah. Imagine that.
A lot of people
Jess
on
from the
Twitter have said
WTF1
that
podcast.
message was for you, you Bottas hater.
Oh dear.
Wow.
Anyway,
dear.
let's move on from Bottas before Jess gets heated.
I'm already hot.
Vettel. Sebastian Vettel. Let's talk about him.
Oh,
Lock up
God,
turn one.
Just
see.
see.
Ruined it. Ruined his race. Turn
Yeah.
one, didn't he?
But fair play for going for it.
Yeah.
He knew that the only way Ferrari could do anything is if he got
Turn
ahead at turn one. And
Of
let's be
both of
honest,
them.
fair play for
Yeah.
going for it.
Went for it. Ruined his strategy. Could have beaten Verstappen had he not
Yeah.
locked up.
But there's something about that car that is he's not comfortable with. There's something not right because
Serious
he's locking
lockups,
up
yeah.
all
China.
the time.
He locked up all the time in China.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And even into even into the pits, I mean, I know a lot of the guys just like whack on the brakes when they hit the pit limiter, but like it just seems to be that he's locking up a ridiculous amount of the time.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Charles didn't get a penalty when he came into the pits because he locked up both of his fronts and was just skidding along. And I was expecting a penalty, but he didn't get one. So Vettel C.
Yeah,
C.
yeah.
Charles
C as well.
Oh God, yes.
Essentially even a D. I feel like he was nowhere this weekend.
I mean, he screwed up his qualifying. He like made a mistake and it put him on the back foot.
he was quicker than Vettel, had to get let through.
Say C as well.
Ferrari,
would
C.
just.
It's the hards. What was the hards about?
Yeah.
I feel
He was pretty quick on those hards though. I think they were betting on Mercedes having to 2-stop, and they were hoping that Charles could 1-stop and stay on those hards and then gain track position. But
I feel like Ferrari are trying to keep the two of them like separate. Like, right, let's put Charles on any different strategy.
Yeah, trying to get them really far away from each other. We probably should mention like the whole Ferrari strategy thing. We had a lot of questions about it, blah, 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 but it's difficult because we don't want the podcast just to be Ferrari have bottled on strategy again. Like it's getting almost like it's almost unexpected for it to happen. But my God, like what are they doing on the pit wall for some of the decisions? Like it wasn't the decisions they were making, it was how long they were taking to do it.
4 laps,
like
wasn't
the
it?
first bit you're like, okay, Charles needs to be ahead, Vettel's flat spotted his tyre, and you think, okay, they're backing Vettel, so maybe that's why it took long.
yeah.
But even when Vettel was behind
It was like
Leclerc,
another 4 laps before that.
they didn't say Leclerc get out of the way.
Yeah.
Why?
Which I find is very interesting because I think I mentioned to you, like in Australia, they said Vettel's number 1.
They don't know what to do.
Vettel's number
they
1.
They literally don't know what to do.
And now, because Charles has put in some decent performances, shown that he's got the pace, it's almost like they're sat there like, do we give him, like, what does number 1 count as? Because if you think number 1, you think they get preferential treatment every single time. But he's not. It almost seems like they're treating them 50-50 in a lot of ways, apart from the strategy, which don't get that. But
I think they need to take an approach like it seems like Mercedes have it down, right? Where Hamilton, I think, is still number 1, but I've not seen anyone I've not seen them kind of bottle it as much as Ferrari have in terms of where their drivers are. Maybe because they haven't had to much.
They've got the pace advantage now where they're ahead. Yeah. I think that's the thing. Like if Ferrari had that pace advantage and were finishing 1-2 and Vettel and Charles were swapping 1-2s every race, it would almost mask the whole team orders. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because if Mercedes were 3 and 4 and, like Bottas has been beating Hamilton, if Mercedes didn't have that pace advantage, would Mercedes be saying Bottas get out of the way because we need every point for Hamilton to get the championship?
I don't think they've been in a situation where they've been on each other's tails and started to ruin each other's races from slowing down or ruining tyres from following. They've not had a situation like that where Mercedes has had to make as similar a call as Ferrari's had. Whereas Ferrari, it seems every single race, one of their guys is slower, one of their guys, and the guy behind for some reason is faster, and they've had to keep swapping them.
Yeah.
And it's, everyone's like, oh, we should ban team orders, blah, 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 blah. You can't do that. We've said this in previous podcasts. But, they just seem to be in a situation where, as you were saying, Matt, like it seems to be one race it's Vettel going too slow and they have to let Charles through, and then Charles is going too slow and then they have to let Vettel through. It's like they don't know what to do.
You think they'd have that conversation before the race that
it's
okay,
mad
if Charles, or for example, like if Vettel has an issue and Charles behind, you swap. Like that shouldn't be a discussion that's happening on the pit wall during the race.
And that's not even like it was a pace issue. It was, we have an injured car.
Yeah. Like, Seb wants to pit. He's slow.
Yeah, let Leclerc through.
Yeah, and it potentially cost him to Verstappen at the end of the day, didn't it?
I think it
did. But yeah, interesting times at Ferrari. So C and D, Vettel C, Charles D. I've given Charles a D.
Yeah,
I would say C. I guess he didn't.
Should we go C minus?
Didn't we give him a D for Baku? And I don't think he made a catastrophic mistake.
See, look, I'm not being a fanboy. I'm being Non-biased. Right, Red Bull, Max Verstappen.
A.
Yeah, didn't do anything
again.
wrong, and he got a podium.
Where did he qualify?
Fourth.
So he beat a Ferrari in
split the-
qualifying,
yeah, split
got
the
a podium.
Ferraris.
He split beat the Ferraris, both of them.
In qualifying, sorry.
He
he
split them
the
and
Ferraris.
beat them.
Yeah.
Split and beat.
Can I say without you'll call me a fanboy, but
God, you're such a fan.
Yeah. Verstappen this season has been the best driver in terms of like, if you
Just literally repelled from you.
I did that.
name
What's that meme?
anyone that's
Excuse
been
me?
better than Verstappen this year, though, seriously.
Yeah, Gasly.
Just the fact that Hamilton and Bottas have been swapping like who's better, and Verstappen for me has got
Because
the
his
most,
teammate's Gasly and he's nowhere.
but he's not that much further than Ricciardo was behind him at the end of last season.
Yeah, but that's because Ricciardo had a terrible season last season.
In terms of this season, literally Verstappen has got the most out of the Red
Yeah.
Bull.
He's on his own.
Every single race.
He's been
Every
efficient.
single race.
I think
But
Gasly is.
he should, again, like, if I'm going to be a critical of Bottas, I'm going to be critical of Max. He should be where he is. Like, he should be the number
Yeah.
one driver because
And he has been.
And he has been. So good. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree. I think he's been driving a phenomenal season. He's very lonely. Like, he's kind of in no man's land. Like, he's
Yeah.
not really, like, he's had a couple of
But he's beating the
good moves.
Ferraris like
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
often, which
Yeah.
is like ridiculous.
I think Pierre's made Max's results look better
better.
than they are, but I think Max is 100% flawless. So, yeah.
It'd be interesting to
I would
see
agree.
what they do at Monaco.
Yeah.
The thing that I find interesting about Verstappen is, like towards the end of the season, if Red Bull can get that car up there and he can start winning races, he could secure third in the title quite easily.
Well, didn't he go third?
Yeah, he is third in
He
the
is third
title.
now.
Yeah, but
That's
in terms
crazy.
of just like pulling away from everyone.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Tommy. I think Max has been the standout this year.
Oh,
A.
okay. All right.
Who would you go with then?
Who would you
Stand
go
out
with?
for you.
I genuinely actually don't know.
Cool, Max. Right. Pierre Gasly, C.
Yeah,
Just
see, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's not made a
He was
big
It's
there.
mistake.
not
He was
going to be a
just-
B until
yeah.
he's within 10 seconds legitimately of his teammate. Then I'll maybe give him a B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was top 10, so,
Yeah.
you know,
Woo.
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 What was he, sixth?
Yeah,
Yes.
sixth again.
Yeah.
He'll be sixth for the rest of the season. Renault, Daniel Ricciardo.
Interesting one.
I didn't really see much of him, to be honest.
See,
I mean, he
this
put,
is
he
where
put the
the
move on
midfield, yeah.
science.
A, B, C, D, E, F1 is really difficult when the director doesn't show any of the midfield.
Did he
Yeah.
race?
I'm like, who was racing? Where did they finish?
But
Yeah.
considering Hulkenberg started from pit lane and
Yeah, not a great performance. from Daniel
ended behind, was it behind Ricardo in the end?
then. Sure.
I can't
They,
remember
they
now.
were they were together.
Because they
Yeah.
Please
let
find the
they
race
let,
result.
Yeah, I mean, I
Wait,
did
I
do
have the
race
race
rundown
result.
earlier,
Oh my
but,
gosh.
Yeah, we
This
do
is
this
so
every
good,
time
isn't
for
it?
A, B, C, D.
but yeah, I think
Um,
Danny Rick.
Yeah, so Ricardo finished 12th and Hulkenberg finished 13th.
I mean,
and that's
that's-
only because Hulkenberg was losing on pace, so they let Daniel through
Right.
to try and chase down the Toro Rossos. But
But we don't know what really happened.
considering-
like,
yeah.
strategy-wise, we don't know if like they had
No,
problems in
nothing.
the pits or anything.
Get Netflix involved. They need to direct
Yeah.
F1 races.
Oh, that'd be amazing. It'd be so over like
Absolutely.
hyped for every race. Yeah. Anyway, Daniel Ricciardo, C. Sure.
Yeah,
We
why
didn't
not?
see him. Get it? Cool. C. Right. Nico Hulkenberg. C.
C.
Right. Sweet. No, it's
Next.
B because he was from the pit lane and he beat his teammate.
yeah, but 12th in a Renault.
But B beat his teammate.
The Renault's
What?
nowhere.
No, he didn't. Hulkenberg finised behind
He
Ricardo.
would have beaten his teammate had it not been for team orders.
No, because he was
Okay,
losing
cool.
pace.
C for Nico. Cool. Haas.
Grosjean.
Roman Grosjean.
I liked his spunk.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I meant his enthusiasm, not the bodily fluid.
That is staying in. Carrying
it's
on.
not.
So
No, I like that he was racing with Magnussen. It's nice to see Grosjean. We're quickly moving on, just FYI.
Okay.
I like to see the enthusiasm that he had. I mean, it's still kind of like
By cutting
Grosjean.
the chicane every lap.
No, I know, but that's so Grosjean. Like, I mean,
That's so Grosjean.
at least he didn't end up in a gravel
Yeah,
trap.
at
New
least he wasn't
reality
round.
TV show. That's so Grosjean.
at least he wasn't spinning at turn 3. That's
Yeah,
Oh God, what
it's
did
just.
I say?
It's just.
decent performance, but he
bad.
fell off at the end, so I'd say C.
Yeah, I'd
All
say
right,
C.
C.
Cool. Kevin Magnussen.
B. Yeah, I think
Tommy
solid.
said-
A.
Thinking
B+.
Did Magnussen outqualify Grosjean?
Don't know. I didn't watch qualifying.
What?
I was
Yeah, you were out.
Yes.
I'd say because it's difficult again because like he's
Finished
best of the
best of the
rest. He got his elbows out
Yeah.
against his teammate to
A.
stop.
A.
Yeah, why
A.
not? Let's give
Nice.
A.
Cool.
There you go, Magnussen.
McLaren, Carlos Sainz.
A.
him A or B. Yeah, he
B.
did pretty good.
B.
Like he was overtaking at the end, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
And
was. And he,
Not that we saw it.
He
but
put him
Yeah.
and again,
may
like
have.
if we'd have seen it, but the bits I did see, him and Ricciardo were having a nice little scrap in the midfield.
Scrappity doo. So,
And he finished.
okay.
And he got
finished
to 8th. Yeah.
8th. Yeah.
A.
The
Then.
home crowd were going mental.
Woo.
I still can't believe that they were like, I'm sure it was some feature on Sky where they're like, so is there the same hype for Carlos Sainz as there is Fernando Alonso? It's like,
What a
Well, not
silly
yet.
so
question.
come on, like,
I mean, give
Let the
him a
man win a
couple world
race.
Yeah,
championships.
yeah.
Like,
Lando Norris.
oh god, he had a
C.
terrible start.
D.
Might even be a D, yeah, because
Maybe even an F.
no, I'd say D.
Well, he
He outqualified his teammate.
He was
he
pretty good in
outqualified
qualifying.
well, no, because
yeah, he
he
had
qualified
that.
11th.
started 10th.
Started 10th because of Ricciardo.
Yeah.
Got to fresh tyres because of that. So he was the only one in the top 10 with fresh tyres.
I'd say,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But I mean, again, like we didn't get to see what happened at turn 3, but he, for some reason, got pushed wide. So
Yeah, we
maybe I'm
didn't see
being
that,
a little
did we?
bit, maybe
No.
I'm being a little bit harsh because I don't actually know what happened at turn 3.
Dropped to 16th. Yeah.
Dropped to 16th.
C.
Didn't manage to climb up anywhere from that position. Again, I don't know if he had damage or what. Had the good scrap with Stroll. Good to see.
But ultimately
good to see that.
ended
But
in
ultimately ended in a
D.
DNF.
D.
I went.
yeah,
I've
D.
literally gone from C to D 12
Yeah,
times.
D.
D.
All right. Only so that we can
I
move
think
on.
F
Give me
is
Raikkonen.
too harsh.
Yeah. Kimi Raikkonen. Don't know. Didn't see him.
Sal-
he was last for a
Sauber?
lot of it, wasn't he?
I'm still living in the past.
Alfa Romeo was.
He went off right at the beginning.
Yeah.
But
D
where
then.
did he finish though? I don't think
16th or 17th.
Giovinazzi was behind
Raikkonen
Williams
finished
at the start
14th.
as well.
14th.
Yeah, they would know where.
Raikkonen still finished above his teammate,
After
even
being in the
though
gravel.
he was dead last, but on lap
Okay,
1.
let's go for C for Kimi then.
Yeah,
C.
See?
yeah.
Okay, and then Giovinazzi D. If he's getting beaten by his
he's
teammate after
nowhere.
a gravel.
Yeah.
F.
It's going to be his last
What's the-
season
what's
in
the
F1
point
if
in
it
him turning
continues
up?
this way. Toro Rosso, Danny Kvyat.
A.
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 He
Good.
was my driver of the day.
Was
we
he?
haven't mentioned driver of the day, but
I would
know
agree.
I know Max won it, but I think Kvyat was robbed. I think Kvyat
what?
was robbed.
Of
Driver
what?
of the day.
Oh, sorry, I get what you mean. I
Yeah.
thought you started saying like Kvyat was robbed of his Red Bull seat then, and I was like, whoa, we're going,
Oh, wow.
we're going way back
I mean,
now.
I definitely wouldn't be saying that.
No, I
yeah.
know. You Max fan.
You Formula One fan, you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so A for Kvyat.
Yeah.
No, but his teammate did such a good move round Raikkonen at
Oh
turn
yeah.
4,
Oh
right?
no, wait.
So,
But wasn't that
Oh, wait.
Kvyat?
God knows anymore.
Which one of them was it?
Alex Albon. B. He finished
did
in the
he
points?
finish?
No, he didn't.
No, he
finished
didn't.
in
No,
the,
he
but that's
didn't.
because of the pit stop. He would have finished.
He
in
finished
the-
11th.
Oh yeah, the Toro
He got
Rosso
abs-
pit stop. They were
actually
not ready
screwed.
for them.
No.
Albon was sat in the pits for like half the race,
Whilst
waiting
Kvyat
for
had no
Kvyat.
wheels on.
Yeah,
I'd say maybe a C.
Didn't see him, so
C.
yeah.
Didn't see him.
hey, I made that joke. You didn't get it earlier. God, you
Oh,
can't say that now. I won't
Yeah.
get it. Neither of you said anything. I was like, cool. I'll just go and laugh by myself.
Yeah, Kvyat A for going for all the epic moves. Albon C.
Okay. Williams, George. I mean, did we see them?
Not.
Yes.
I don't
Race.
think. Did they get any? Oh no, we only
They-
saw them when they got lapped.
Yeah, but that's actually quite rare because normally F1 don't show it, which was why it was even more annoying because it's like that's when moves were being made
I
and
found
they
one of-
showed the Williams
When
getting up.
Hamilton ducked back in after overtaking the Williams, I felt that was quite close.
Yeah,
Do you remember that when he
Yeah,
literally
it
went?
was quite close. Yeah, you're right. I forgot that happened.
Yeah. Well, what an amazing moment in the race,
Yeah.
huh?
A.
How could you forget it? So George
You know-
Russell and Robert Kubica, L for lap. I don't know.
It's so difficult, isn't it? We just keep giving. Should we just do the standard
C's.
B for
B for
give Russell
turning
finish
up.
ahead? Yeah.
Russell, yeah, I think he did.
And
And
C.
He
interestingly,
was ahead of
they
someone.
swapped chassis on
Yes,
the
they
two
did.
drivers.
Oh,
so
to-
everyone was saying, "Oh, Russell's beating Kubica because he's got the better chassis."
Yeah,
they
the
switched.
conspiracy theorists.
Twitter
have-
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my Twitter
Oh,
troll
we've not
voice.
done that this year, have we?
Well, there you go. I did it for
There
the
it
first
is.
time.
There's the Twitter voice.
Yeah, so Russell still beat Kubica.
So B for
Cool.
Russell, C for Kubica. Predictions for Spain. Let's go through what we thought was going to happen. Tommy, the best of the rest will be lapped.
No,
Almost.
safety car ruined it.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it would have happened?
Probably.
No.
Half a point.
Probably no. No, not half a point. No. Verstappen will finish ahead of both Ferraris.
Yeah.
Such a
Correct.
fanboy, but it came through. Nice, fair play. Jess, Bottas won't shave.
The beard.
The beard.
No, he didn't shave.
Didn't
he trimmed.
Yeah. Half a point.
Okay.
Because technically he did kind of.
No, but he kept. What I meant was that he
No,
would keep the
you
beard.
can't clarify now. Half a point.
Yeah, we went the homeless thing, the big homeless beard.
Oh, yeah,
And
he
didn't have
trimmed
it.
it, yeah.
So technically, half.
Come on,
Half a
Bottas.
point.
Ricardo top 10.
No, I
No.
mean almost.
But no. We can't give half a point to literally not getting 10.
What did
Me,
you- what
I
did
said
you say?
boring one stop, which
Ha-
we're giving
Half
half
a
a point because it was boring.
It was boring, but it
multi-stops.
wasn't a one stop.
Did anyone one stop? Can't imagine so with the safety car. No.
No.
You don't actually have a clue, do you,
We
Tommy?
don't,
You just
no.
said no.
Lando
Uh,
might have done. And Stroll.
Well, he's just
I thought you were gonna say-
full stopped.
I thought you said that because he crashed. Like Lando one stopped. Is
Yeah,
that
no,
what you meant?
that was the
Oh,
joke.
okay.
That was the joke.
Okay. But you look like you're being serious. So anyway,
I
we're
never
really
look
getting
serious.
each other's humour. Both Renaults won't make Q3, I said, and they did. Well, Ricardo did make Q3, didn't he? So,
Yes.
Yeah, so
so
no.
that's a 0 points.
0
0
points.
points
Fans,
for you.
Daniel Lofthouse, Giovinazzi actually gets points at the Spanish Grand Prix.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Is that like minus 1 point?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we're so far off.
No, this is a collective team point. We're not taking away points from the
Okay.
very little we ever
Okay.
score in this.
We're not very good at these, are we?
No. Dark Shines Sec. Haas will be best of the rest.
Correct.
Yes.
One driver
full
was.
point.
So
A full
yeah.
fat point that was. And finally, everyone, Mercedes won too.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes.
Sadly. Right, predictions for Monaco. Tommy.
It'll be the best race of the season so far.
Get in the
Incorrect.
bin.
No, it will be.
No points. I'm already awarding you no
It's
points.
going to be the best race of the season.
Someone will miss qualifying after. I'm reading your I thought I was
Like,
still in the Spain
You're
one.
literally just going to roll
Yeah,
through.
carry on. We've been here a while now.
Yeah, someone will miss qualifying after a free practice 3 crash.
Okay, Jess.
No, I need to read it. Max will split the Mercedes on the podium.
Okay, so P2. Nice.
P2, yeah. And we won't need to actually watch the race after qualifying because the top 6 will finish where they qualify.
I like that. I like that prediction.
Yeah.
It's sassy, but it's probably going to be true.
Yep.
Still be the best race, eh?
What?
The
that
di-
everyone finishes where they
from
The
seventh
qualify.
down to
director will
20th.
listen to this podcast. He will show the midfield, and it will be epic.
I want to change mine, actually. Hold on. I'm going to
quickly,
change that
quickly.
one. So the first one is going to be Leclerc crashes, which I just feel bad. I don't want it to happen, obviously, but I just feel like
Be
after
like
Baku,
yeah.
his confidence might be a little bit.
Where do you think he's going to crash?
He's putting a lot of pressure
Ooh.
on himself.
He'll crash.
Where Verstappen did
We won't
last
hold
year.
you to it. Like we'll still give you a
1,
point
2.
if he crashes.
After the uphill, it's like turn 4-ish.
Okay.
Left-hander. Like the
Casino Square.
Casino.
left-hander into casino. And the second one is going to be that we're going to be shown at least 3 times someone on a boat.
The same person.
Well,
Like a
hang on.
celebrity.
Whoa. Because do you
During the
mean like
race.
a purposeful shot? Because when they come down past swimming pool,
No,
all the yachts are there.
Like you know when they're on a boat.
certain celebrity.
And
or,
okay, all right, certain
yeah,
celebrity.
A certain celebrity will get shown. You know, like Will Smith in Abu Dhabi, even though that was
That's
100
I mean, that's
times.
a guarantee. You're going to score multiple
On a
points.
on a boat.
A boat or a yacht?
Both.
One that it's on it's on water.
Well, I'm just trying to get like
We're not
specific.
going to be sat here going, well, what's the Great Mary of a yacht or a boat?
Yeah. Half a point. It was a yacht, not a boat.
Certain celebrity 3 times on a boat. There you go.
The same celebrity or different ones?
I don't know anymore.
I reckon the same
The same
Celebrity.
celebrity has to be shown.
3 times on a boat or a
On,
yacht.
so even if they're on the dinghy on their way to shore, that
I
counts
don't
because it's a
care.
boat.
I'm counting that.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
Cool.
Good. That's why I just wanted to clarify.
Let's not clarify because we're going to give it half a point no
Okay.
matter what.
We're starting to get tired now.
Fans, Rudsidion Mars, enough DNFs for Williams to score points.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now that will coincide with best race of the season
Yeah.
if that happens. Ecastro 13050, it's going to be a moist GP.
Oh, moist.
Moist. It's a terrible word. You
I
hate that word. don't you?
Yeah.
I don't like that
I
word.
put that in there deliberately because it was a
Moist.
funny one.
It's going to be a
Ugh.
moist GP. What, just humidity or is humidity
moist.
over 30% humidity? Does that count as a moisture? Okay.
Maybe. Why not?
Midwest Harry 7, a new driver in the top 5 for the first time this year.
We hope so.
Didn't Perez finish
Yeah,
fifth?
yeah. No,
No.
6th.
6th.
Yeah,
Does
he
it?
finished.
That's what I said.
He's best of
That was
the
the stat at the start of the year that the same five have finished. In the
Sorry.
same
Yes.
places.
Okay. All right. Midwest Harry.
So
I don't
are
think that's gonna
you
happen.
secretly Midwest Harry?
Yeah.
Is that your
It's my
Is that
shenanigans
your
account.
shenanigans account?
Shenanigans. Fantastic. We are now done. Amazing. How on earth have we made an hour or so?
Over an
It's
hour.
been our
for the
longest
Spanish Grand Prix?
podcast.
To be fair, I think we spoke about 10 minutes of the Spanish Grand Prix and everything else was us just moaning. So,
Yeah.
no, to be fair, we spoke a lot about the drivers. ABCDEF1 is a great segment. Some people are like, I think it should be shortened. No, because then people comment and say, you didn't speak about this driver.
Yeah, it guarantees we talk about everybody.
Yeah. Even if it's just B.
Even if we didn't see them for the entire race and found it impossible
We
to give a
judged them.
grade.
Thank you,
Literally,
race director.
Right, we're done. Thank you so much for watching this WTF1 podcast. Spanish Grand Prix is over. We'll see you for Monaco. Hopefully we won't say to remove it from the calendar. Otherwise, Tom will be very, very angry.
I'm not going to be in it if you say that. I'm going to walk off.
You just remove yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
Adios, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.